Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Insurance Insights podcast by Policybazaar. Today's episode is brought to you by Policybazaar For Business, Policybazaar's corporate insurance division, which is missioned with making business insurance more accessible and affordable to across India. I'm your host, Vaibhav, and I am excited and honored to introduce to you our next guest, Mr. Birendra. He is the HR Specialist from GBTL, which is a Dornier Group company. Welcome, sir. Welcome on the show, and thank you for giving this opportunity and speaking with us.
Thank you, Vaibhav. Thanks to you and Policybazaar for giving me this opportunity to speak to you.
Thank you. So, sir, at the outset, can you explain to our viewers what exactly does GBTL does in this textile industry? And can you also touch a little bit upon the entire textile industry in the country today?
GBTL is one of the factories, group companies of Dornier. The GBTL has interest in menswear, which is polyester and viscose. Now, apart from the brands, domestic brands, GBTL's 65 to 70% export happens, which is mostly in the sector of PV. In India, we have a large presence in the niche fabric, which is Grado and Graviera. Dornier Group has been in the business of apparel and fabric for the last 40 years. They have basically three companies. Domestically, our brand names are Grado and Graviera. Similarly, OCM has interest in polyviscose, and Dornier Industries Limited with cotton, linen, in apparel and also in fabric. So it's a large company, and we are also expanding into organic and inorganic space. We focus on sustainable and eco-friendly fabric. Today, entire production process in which we have taken a lot of technological advancement and certifications.
So you spoke about fabric being sustainable and eco-friendly, right? Can you elaborate a little bit more about it and what exactly does sustainable and eco-friendly entail?
Now, when we say sustainable, it means that the entire production process, right from the raw material stage to the fabric stage, at each stage of the life cycle of a fabric, it has to be sustainable and eco-friendly. Now, our main raw material for manufacturing fabric is viscose and polyester. Now, viscose is a natural fiber. Polyester is from crude oil. So, there are today a lot of standards to manufacture polyester, which is sustainable and eco-friendly. So there are standards which GBTL adheres to make such kind of, or to purchase such kind of yarn from outside market.
So in the entire manufacturing process and from a clothing point of view, is there anything innovative or advanced that GBTL is doing today?
The latest is we are interested in Neo Stretch. You know, Lycra is a product you must be knowing. It's one of the most comfortable fabrics. Neo Stretch is a very new product in GBTL. It's a four-way stretch. You can imagine how comfortable it would be. When you wear it, you can stretch your legs. If you're doing a yoga, if you're doing gymming, also you can possibly wear it because it's a stretched four-way stretch. So that's a new product we are coming up with. So now the technology has given you a lot of scope, lot of leverage to produce such kind of fabric where you don't have to wash it every time you wear it. So that kind of technology has come, which GBTL is utilizing.
So, sir, at the scale that you operate today, of course, there are a lot of stakeholders, a lot of employees that are actually involved in the entire organization. How do you ensure that these employees are motivated, and how do you ensure wellness of these employees and that they're focused towards a singular goal of the company?
Vaibhav, in today's world, wellness and well-being is one of the most important concepts. And I think each other organization, in whichever space they are in, whether large, MSME or startups, they need to take care of the wellness and well-being, because well-being means it helps employee to become more engaged in the organization and more productive. So if I talk about one of those organizations, a very famous organization on well-being, it says that well-being means it's a state of mind where you feel comfortable, healthy and happy. Now, in Factories Act and various other acts, it talked about there is a concept which talks about HAZOP. HAZOP means hazard and operability. Means what? In the entire production process, or in a service organization, you find out what are the hazards in different production process. Now, for example, in textile, you have fiber dyeing where we are using a lot of chemicals. There is spinning, there is weaving, and then synthetic process house. Each of the production processes has different hazards. Now, do they identify such kind of hazards? Now, if you identify such kind of hazards, then you have a strategy to deal with it, to mitigate it. For example, like this organization, right? The people are involved in a lot of conceptual work. Now, there is a lot of pressure to perform. There would be a lot of stress, anxiety, things like that. Now, what would be your hazard, or what would be your HIRA? HIRA means hazard identification and risk assessment. So, your hazards will be more towards mental. So, now the part one, when we talk about those safety issues which are concerning human beings, is highly visible. Like, for example, you are walking on a floor and you find something which can tend to trip. Now you can identify and it's very visible. There is something on the top and you ask people to wear helmet. It can fall down. So you can well visualize such things. But when we talk about mental, it's not visible. Somebody has a lot of anxiety. Somebody is going through a huge depression. It's entirely invisible. Now, how the organization is taking care of the well-being, especially mental well-being. There are organizations which are talking about that first aid to mental illness. So what is that? How do you identify? How the organization appreciates such kind of things is the most important part of well-being. So we'll deal with how GBTL is doing all such things. Now, social well-being is one of the most important part, which is taking the center stage today. More important than physical health. Because it is invisible, it's very difficult to identify the people who are going through it. A person comes to an organization, spends 48 hours in a week, maybe more than that. Now there is a concept, there is a culture. Suppose that culture bullies you. He is not in a position to talk to his boss, the HR department, or anybody. Now he goes on with that kind of a mental stress, and finally someday decides to go to the hospital. Someday he decides to quit the organization because he can't withstand such kind of pressure. Now, organization need to find out a way to deal with this kind of problems. Now, the next important part is value and principles. Now, most of the companies have values. Apart from that, they have a mission, vision. Now, how mission, vision, and values, these are strategically taken into consideration, and a well-being program or well-being concept is created in an organization is the most important part. What we do in GBTL, we provide yoga facilities to employees. We provide subsidized gym facility. We have a gym in our colony where we provide employees can go, and then it's highly subsidized. Number 3, we encourage people to come and cycle or walking if they're staying within a some kilometers distance. Apart from that, in canteens, in some days we provide oil-free, sugar-free diets. So these are the considerations which would prevent the further deterioration in the health. Now, apart from that, one of the most important part is how you are creating awareness with the people, that how many training classes are happening, how much we are talking about health. But insurance is a concept where you are giving an insurance net, so that if he falls ill, then he can go and hospitalized and get insurance benefit. That is very good. That has to happen.
So from a company point of view, you spoke a lot about wellness and well-being as an entire concept, right? That your company is very heavily focused on as of today. Do you think that the insurance industry also requires an overhaul, or what do you think are some advancements that you would probably want to see from the insurance industry coming in so that it adds to the overall well-being of your employees?
What is the future of insurance? That's a very important question. This is a very important concept to develop. That today, most of the companies are dealing with insurance on the basis of health and awareness. But now, all those people who are not taking the benefit of their coverage, Now, how do they need to be made aware that you have an insurance coverage? Now, creating awareness about what are the diseases is covered, understanding the person, what are his needs for him and his family, if the family is covered, are the key.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that wonderful and delightful conversation. Was very, very happy to hear some of the insights from your vast years and decades of experience. And I hope that the insurance industry also evolves in the direction that you have also spoken about. Thank you for giving us the time and thank you for this opportunity. And I hope that we get to have such conversations more often in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Vaibhav. Thank you, Policybazaar, for inviting me. And it has been a very engaging discussion. And thank you very much.